I don't know where Birmingham is. It's the home of Cadbury chocolate. But today I've been introduced to Whittaker's, which I did enjoy. I must say, Lynn is the project lead for the nutritional guidelines. I'm the paediatric contributor. Okay. The process we went through to produce the guidelines are consistent with what Katia described earlier, so I'm not going into any detail about that. But during our scoping meeting, we came up with a list of nutritional topics, of which there are many that we'd like to address in EB, but we felt that there was consensus to start with constipation. We hope that there's only final tweaking now, and then we might be ready to publish, but it's been at least 2 years in the making so far. Why constipation? We felt that constipation affects all types of EB, patients of all ages. It causes pain and discomfort that hopefully could be prevented. We also know that pain and discomfort actually affects your overall nutritional intake. So by improving that, maybe we can actually improve nutritional intake in general for the patients. We think it could also be prevented. It's treatable, and it's not necessarily expensive to treat, and therefore should be something that can be used by people wherever they live around the globe. We also know that treatments can be effective. The other thing that we're quite aware of is that when people come to a clinical review, they've usually got a whole list of things that they would wish addressing, and constipation sometimes is at the bottom of the list, pardon the pun. You are listening. So briefly, the aim of the guideline is to use nutrition to prevent constipation, to optimise fluid and fibre intakes, to produce a regular bowel motion that is pain-free and soft. It's not to diagnose constipation, and we don't make pharmacological recommendations. It's hoped to be used by everybody, clinicians and all other health professionals, people living with all types of EB, and carers of people with all types of EB, so hopefully anyone. I've listed there what the guideline will contain. Thank you. I don't know how I've moved on. There we go. So the contents are listed there. We look at the incidence of constipation and EB. The contributing factors, we all know that people with EB we've heard today have sore mouth, poor dentition, can often be not very mobile. All those can contribute to constipation and poor intake. We look at the role of fibre within the diet, the role of artificial fibres, the role of feeds, you put via the gastrostomy, and oral nutritional supplements and the content of fibre in those. Look at fluid requirements and how to best to meet them. We make recommendations, look at supportive treatments such as topical treatments, identify future research we think is important, and describe a methodology. The other thing that we've included, which we feel is really the tools for using this guideline, is a set of appendices in which we include the Bristol stool chart. I don't know if you've all got one that you carry around with you. Not to diagnose constipation, but to be used as a tool to monitor whether stools are improving, whether they're ideal. We also will provide tables for calculating fluid and fibre requirements according to age and sex recommendations of children and adults. And importantly, we've tried to incorporate tables of food content tables so that commonly available foods, the fibre content is listed in portions and per 100 grams, so that people can use that to work out how they can increase the fibre in their diets. So the idea is to use the appendices, calculate your intake, calculate your requirements, and use the tables to optimise the intake up to the required levels. Keep moving on too quickly. And briefly talk about the supportive treatments, such as stool softeners, topical treatments, importance of psychosocial support, mobility and activity, which we've already heard about, how to meet fluid requirements. And the other thing about talking do we need to add cannabis to the list? Do we perhaps need to look at that after the previous talk? And I'd like to acknowledge Lynn as the lead for the project, and also Katya, with many thanks to Katya today, who's been a motivator for us to keep going and valuable help with writing our drafts. So thank you for listening.